following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Welcome to another edition of Mick Shots here in Oxnard, California. We are at Cowboys training camp. Nate Newton, Savannah Hugh Moeller, Mickey Spagnola with you this morning, along with the Zamboni right on cue. There was no noise here until we started it, and here he comes, making another pass on this Thursday. It's a little cloudy today, guys.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's not too bad, though. It should warm up. We'll get some sunshine going.
It don't bother me. It's to me, it's perfect weather.
64 degrees.
Perfect weather.
Wait, I have to ask Nate about his adventure yesterday on the motorcycle. You went up north yesterday?
Yeah, I went up towards San Francisco.
To where?
San Francisco.
Towards San Francisco. Towards San Francisco.
Towards San Francisco.
Yeah, I made it probably, I was about 200 miles from San Francisco before I turned around.
How many miles?
About 200 miles from San Francisco.
From?
It's about 380.
Well, you didn't get very far.
Yeah, it's 380 to San Francisco, and I got up to about 200.
Can we turn our cameras around? And
Yeah,
watch Dak
turn our
work
camera.
out?
We got Dak throwing the ball way up in there. Whee!
Medicine ball.
Yeah, the medicine ball. Go on and get that on camera, girl. Go on and film that quick.
You want me to film that?
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, we'll get a little video.
Oh, come on, you slow.
He'll be back.
You slow. Wow, but anyway.
Well, we know
Savannah blew it.
Dak's working out, right?
Yeah.
Hey, he's getting his morning workout in before our big practice at 2 p.m. when the Rams come to our house today.
Yeah.
Should be a very exciting day here in Oxnard.
What are you looking for, Nate?
I'm looking for news and notes and who's injured and who's not before we even start this practice. I would like to know if we got any new players. I want to know everything you know, Mick.
Well, we had a walkthrough yesterday.
Okay.
Or as they called it, a mock game.
Yes.
Right? And so there really wasn't a practice. We got a chance to talk to the Cowboys assistant coaches, not the coordinators, the assistants. So we got to do that. If the walkthrough meant anything, it looked like Tyler Guyton was out there with the first team offense. So we'll see if he's ready to jump back into practice. He had a chest cold. Did you ever miss practice with a chest cold?
Yeah, no, because we had Vicks Vapor Rub, and we put it on our chest, and they hit us in the chest and in the back a couple of times, and we threw up whatever was in our chest, and then we got out there and practiced.
Okay.
Hey, new style of player. They're just as tough, just as physical. I'm not knocking them.
You did what you had to do.
Well, a little Vicks Vapor Rub with a hot rag over it.
All right, here's the moment.
Yes.
All right, we'll get back to it.
So while Savannah
I'll let Mickey talk.
videoing here, we'll go on. So maybe Guyton will be ready to practice today.
Yes,
they'll be in pads against the Rams.
We need to see young Guyton. We need to see him getting every rep that he can get, because right now, Chuma, Adoga has been in and out, and our one constant guy has been Austin Richards.
Right.
And he's doing a nice job, but they want to see the competition between Chuma and Guyton, and giving Guyton the first shot at being that starter.
And we'll see how much they would put the first team guys out here in this practice. I would imagine, since it's a practice, they will do this more than they will against the Rams.
Yeah,
in the preseason game, because this is controlled.
Yeah.
Right. Because I saw them, it looked like they were doing some stuff, getting ready for the Rams game, and they were working Awesome as the left guard, and they were working T.J. Bass as the right guard.
Right.
So they're not going to put Zach Martin out there, maybe not even Tyler Smith.
In
the
they won't
preseason
play.
game. So, but they'll play them in this practice.
Coaches love practices or scrimmages against other teams. It gives you a chance as a player to go up against different talent with different styles. You may have the same over and under defenses, but it's a different player that's going to give you a different deal. Like a few years ago when Aaron Donald was here, that was a whole different level.
Right.
And a player got to say, okay, this is what I really need to work on, because I've seen number 58,
Mozzie Smith.
I've seen Mozzie for 30 days. But this right here is something special when you see Aaron Donald. So it's the same. Whereas you can bet when Parsons line up at defensive end position, their tackles will be like, whoa, this is different. And so it gives you a mindset where you may have to, hey, okay, I'm at the right level, or you might have to raise your game the way you practice.
So since you asked about guys still rehabbing,
yes,
Overshown, they're kind of slow playing him right now. They know he's coming back from that ACL, and the other day I saw him hop off practice after a play or two. Now he came back, but they're kind of slow playing it. And looked like yesterday he was going through rehab. Royce Freeman, the same thing, soft tissue injury. Trayvon Diggs, while he has been out there, it's been 7-on-7 in pads, but not team. My guess is they don't put him in team until Tuesday. He's not going to play in the preseason game. I don't think. They got to practice on Friday, really a walkthrough on Saturday, travel to L.A. Sunday. It's a day off on Monday, so Tuesday would be the next big practice. They're practicing Friday, but I bet they don't put him in team yet. But he's close, and he's moving awfully well. I don't know what you guys have noticed.
The thing that about these guys and Mr. Britt Brown is doing is each one of them got their own snap count. They each got how many plays they want them to go out, percentage of practice they want them to go in, what drills they want them in and don't want them in. So they're being real careful about that. The most important thing here is we know that these guys' knees are structurally sound. What you have to be wary of now is you got to understand your quads and your calves and your hamstrings now got to go out on this field and do a different deal. It ain't a controlled workout or a control where you know what's going on. When you trying to recover a receiver, you can be twisted or bent any type way. So before you just get a guy exploding the muscles everywhere like that, you got to give them time to ramp up to this type of pace.
Also, we've talked earlier about how Mike Zimmer has been meeting with Micah Parsons early in the morning and Trayvon Diggs both in the same room. And it takes one moment for, them to discuss, hey, this is what's going to be happening. Here's different plays and everything. But when Trayvon's coming back from this injury, and as it's a slow progression for him getting onto the field, it's going to take a little bit of time to connect the dots.
Yes.
And it is going back to the mentality. Yes, he is physically ready, but you still have to slowly be implementing those plays on the field, and that's going to take a little bit more time, if you ask me.
So you know how the players say you got to stay where your feet are?
Right.
Got to stay where your shoes are, too.
Yeah.
Got to get used to wearing your cleats.
That's right.
Can't be walking out there barefoot.
And I found out, I went to one of the trainers and said, is there anything behind this? Yeah, he's just different.
I knew it.
Yeah,
I had a feeling.
Different. Yeah, he's just different. He come out there with his water bottle, with his shoes off. He's just a different guy that's a high-level guy, just like a great singer. Just a little bit eccentric, They do their own thing.
So one of the things that I'll be interested to see, not only in this scrimmage, but the preseason game on Sunday, is the running back position. We keep hearing about, we're going to do this running back by committee. Well, I think we sort of know who the top two guys in the committee are, right?
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott.
First and second down, that is.
And
yeah.
Rico Dowdle.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how they've been using them, right, Nate?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Zeke's been out there, majority first and second. Rico kind of the third down back. And then they kind of switch it up. Now, when we talked to Jeff Blasco yesterday, I talked to him the day before also on the running back committee, and he thinks that, what they've seen so far from these guys, that, they'll be able to do what they want to do pointed out that, a lot of the teams in the league don't have just one dog doing all the work, that they're using multiple running backs. So I thought the third guy had been Royce Freeman, which I thought was somewhat surprising, because when you looked at his track record, other than his first 2 years in the league, he really hasn't been that active with teams.
Mm-hmm.
Last year he got a little bit more exposure, and then he ended up with, I think it's a hamstring or a groin, and he has missed the last few practices, but he kind of was running as the third guy. I don't know if he made an impression on you guys, or have you noticed anything about Freeman?
Well, I think he made a big impression on coaches. Even Coach McCarthy was saying the other day how great it's been having him on this roster, but also how he was also going to be a big contributor to even special teams. So, it's unfortunate that he's missing these practices, and hopefully this injury isn't something that's more long lasting. I think that there's a lot of use for Royce Freeman. He's a bigger body for this running back position, and they might be able to utilize him as far as, even red zone, something like that is what I'm kind of envisioning for him.
Nate?
Yeah, Mick, sometimes, this old dude gets stuck. And right about now, it's only three guys I'm looking at. The rest of them got to show me through preseason. Ezekiel, Rico Dottle, and Hunter Lemke. When they're in, I watch. When the other running backs in, I just like, okay, I'm just.
We'll see.
Yeah. I really, really have to see, because we can't count Deuce Vaughn out. He got another year under his belt and trying to understand what this league is about and the speed of this league. So,
he's been missing practice.
Yeah, he's been missing practice. So, I'm just saying, when you go into a preseason game, and I'm fortunate they don't do this out here and doing scrimmages or practices against other teams, is you don't too much worry about who run in at running back first. Watch who's playing special teams first.
Right.
That'll tell you real quick. If they like Royce Freeman and they keep talking about special teams, if they like Billy Johnson, they keep talking about special teams, let's see where they're at and how many special teams they're on. Right. That is what you look at. And that'll tell you who they're really looking at.
So I think if we talk about the top three, Lipke's the third.
Yeah.
The way they're using him right now, he's a fullback, but they're employing the fullback a little bit more, it seems like, in different areas than they did last year so far.
And there's no hesitation when they say, when they move the team, the seventh period, second and third down, long distance. Lemke is the first guy out there, even before Zeke or the other kid, Rico Dottle. He is the first guy running out there with Dak.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whoa, okay. So that is what I've been noticing. That's what I've been noticing. Now, maybe they didn't want that out there, but I'm giving y'all some news.
Well, they've had him lined up as a true fullback.
Yes.
With two-back system. They had him lined up in a two-back system, but offset over by the tackle guard.
Yeah.
And then
kind of like an H-back.
And then they've been using him as a one-back.
Yeah.
In a lot of situations, even on third down situations. So he kind of reminds me of Mike's fullback in Green Bay, Kuhn. I forgot his first name. All I know is he ripped the Cowboys one year for like 3 touchdowns in the game.
Yeah, wow.
So, but he likes to use the fullback, and I think Lipke looks a little like he's put on some not weight, but strength.
Yes.
Like
muscle.
He looks bigger.
Yeah.
I think everybody last year remembers the goal line fumble in Miami.
Right. That's his big. Yeah. Everyone.
Somebody even asked
him for
that,
but
I was like, seriously, it was a mix-up on who was supposed to get the ball, right? But I like those three right now, and Blasco even said, with this committee thing, whoever gets put on the practice squad, you can elevate a guy 3 times. Maybe in a particular game, they want to see Malik Davis out there. So we'll see how it works out. But right now, from a production standpoint, I think Zeke's running just fine. Again, as he said, especially for the running backs, and this is what we know. It's hard to judge until the bullets start flying, like the preseason game.
Right.
Now, I don't know that Zeke's going to be out there in that preseason game, but we'll able to see what Rico Dowdle's doing, Malik Davis, Snoop Connor. Deuce needs to get himself back out there.
A steady rotation,
yeah.
Honestly. And giving that opportunity to those guys to kind of showcase what they can do in preseason is going to be very important. But when it comes back to Hunter Luepke, I really like his confidence right now, too. He seems a little bit more comfortable in his second year. He knows exactly what he needs to kind of bring to the table. One quote that I really like from him, he turned off all social media this year. He was like, I want to focus just solely on football. But he said, your film is your resume. So he's in there watching film regularly, going back to exactly what he is, showcasing, and he's trying to study to make himself a better player.
The thing about being a Cowboy player, it's the same as a team. Half the people going to love you and half the people going to hate you. Mm-hmm. So if you're a big social media guy, this ain't the world you need to be in.
Right.
Not in doing training camp. You have to be like Lemke. You have to be like LeBron James. When the playoffs come, I don't need you. I don't need to hear you. I ain't got no extra tickets. It's over. I'm turning my phone off. I'm turning my computer off. And that is a smart thing that Lemke's done. If it ain't his wife or his young lady that he's close to, he don't need to hear from her.
So,
by the way, it's John Kuhn is who Mike
Kuhn
had as the fullback in Green Bay.
There you go. You came into the league twice, really, as a undrafted free agent. Once with Washington,
yes,
right?
Sir.
83.
Yes, sir.
And then when you came to the Cowboys, it was almost the same thing all over
dream
again.
Come true.
So what's your mentality when you're trying to make a team, when you know you're undrafted and you got a tough hill to climb?
This is what I try to tell young guys. You're going to be at the back of the line. So you'll get to see all the mistakes. Don't go up there and make the same mistake that the guys before you. Don't make that mistake. Make sure you study your playbook. That's why I messed up in Washington. I wasn't a good studier. I didn't understand defenses, especially multiple moving defenses. It just blew my mind. I just freaked out. So understand, and the quicker you learn something and rehearse it and walkthroughs are very important. Now at the game begin to slow down. And now you can start to see things, and now you can let your athletic ability and your physical presence take over. And it took me a long time. It took me going to the USFL and learning this, and a coach believing in me. But every rep counts, because you got to understand, these wide receivers are getting, the fourth and fifth guy are getting at least 4 extra catches per practice, because those 4 extra catches will be going to CeeDee Lamb. The next 3 catches will be going to Cooks, and then it'll be split between Turpin and another guy. So with the 5th guy and the 6th guy, every now and then they'll throw him a ball to catch him off guard.
Right.
That's how few balls you would get. So every rep, they were like, man, we throwing the ball, and he dropped it, and then somebody will come to his defense. Well, you ain't throwing but 2 balls in 2 days. Well, he better catch those balls. So every rep counts. When I see Austin Richards, that's my man. But every time I see him, technique. I walk by, hey, bro, keep your technique. I don't care. Out here in practice, I say you can adjust as the game go on, but technique. Today when I see him in practice, I'll say, bro, you don't know these guys. Rely on your technique. Your strength and your feet will be in there. Allow your technique to take over. That's what you do. You have to be a technique sound person. You have to know what to do, know the snap count, know who to block, and let your technique take over.
There you go. We'll continue here on Mick Shots in a moment on DallasCowboys.com.
Lawnmower Man, too.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine said.
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer, 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole made with real Hass avocados will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouthwatering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to Mick Shots.
The 2024 official sideline collection is out now. Head to a pro shop near you or log on to shop.dallascowboys.com. A Fanatics experience in score gear made for players, coaches, and you. I guess we can close out the Hunter Luepke subject, but I did have one more note on John Kuhn, who McCarthy had in Green Bay. So similar to Hunter Luepke, Kuhn was a Division II player out of Shippensburg, and he went undrafted in 2005. So a very similar sort of path, exactly like Hunter Luepke. So McCarthy likes his fullbacks.
If he like Kroon or Humes or whatever his name, the fans will be calling him out. You know, this is what I like about Coach McCarthy, is he has survived with just one good running back. Zeke used to be a great running back. Now Zeke is an exceptional good running back. Experience, knows what to do, tough. Okay, now we need for Rico Dotto to pick his game up and his injury threshold lifted up a little bit. Now we get Luepke is going to be the change-up guy. Now you're going to look at him, he can't do nothing. All of a sudden he's catching a pass out of the backfield, a screen up the sideline. This kid is going to be all right. Now he's a better blocker. Last year, like you say, half a man. Now he's hitting guys right down the middle. He's taking the punishment and giving the punishment. And fullbacks are going to be put in awkward positions. That's what scares young guys, because now you're running over everybody in college, but these are grown men. And they'll stand you up, and you don't have to get the perfect block. You just have to get something on them, and the running back will make the move. Just out of curiosity, going into today's practice against the Rams, what are both of your expectations as far as what this day looks like for the team? For me, I want quickness and physicalness. I want effort. Quickness, physicalness with effort. I'll worry about the rest. But if you come out here and let them out hustle us, or just be a physical presence, I'm not going to be able to take that this year. Mm-hmm. I need a physical presence every time you walk on the field. Not whether you're playing the 49ers or Cleveland. I know you're going to get pumped up for them, but what you're going to do about the lower level teams, be physical at all times and give me great effort. Start fast, start fast, start fast, start fast. The word that came to mind to me is compete, sort of what Nate's talking about. Get out there and compete. Winning and losing doesn't matter out here, but you better compete hard, and you got to turn it up a little bit more than just your regular practice. And I think that they better be ready for that, because the Rams are going to come in here. This is like an away game to them, and they're going to be fired up to compete. So you got to match their intensity. Understand this. I've never and I've been around the Cowboys, and Mick, you've been around the Cowboys forever. The only team that really didn't care about us ever was the Raiders. But I have never been in the inner squad. I've been against the Chargers, against this team here. They come in like they hate us. And they always come in with a physical presence. The only team that really didn't care was the Raiders. They did not practice. But everybody else always came with a physical presence. The first time it caught us off guard. But after that, it never caught us off guard because for some reason, whether they went to the Super Bowl or whether they went to the NFC Championship or the AFC, they come in like, we just won the Super Bowl. They bring it to – am I lying?
Well, in Austin, right?
Yeah.
Those are pretty high-intensity practices.
They come at us.
As a matter of fact,
physical.
It got so physical and intense that one year, Al Davis walked on the field and stopped the practice. It wasn't his place, but he walked on the field and goes, "That's it. You guys are done." Took the team off the field.
When we was practicing in Austin, we used to go against the Houston team. The same thing.
Right.
Great effort against us. If I was saying something to the team, it's only three things I would say. Your effort, speed, and physicalness. That's what I'm looking for. If you're not a veteran guy, like the butcher, the right guard, or still a veteran guy that you're working on something special, those guys will be exempt. But everybody else, that I talked about 30 guys shouldn't worry, but I got from 31 on back, you should be, every chance you get, you should be trying to take somebody's head off. Not nothing illegal, but within the framework of what's going on out there, you should be, I want to say balls, never mind.
I got you.
Yeah.
We understand. And one of those guys that kind of fits into that needs to, now with a practice, a live practice, and then a preseason game, Brock Hoffman, their center, another undrafted free agent guy,
sir.
practice squad. Now, it looks like he's kind of solidifying that starting center job. All right, but now you got to play football. This ain't practice, right? And you got to step up, and everything that he seems to be doing right, you got to continue to show that to be able to lock that position up.
One thing that I've really liked hearing from Coach McCarthy over the past week is the word discipline. He's used it in a few different senses, especially for this practice today. He wants to see discipline out of this team as far as the physical discipline, the mental discipline, and the emotional discipline. So that's one thing that I'm looking to see today specifically, is how that's carried on the field, because this is the first time these guys are getting the opportunity to hit another team that are not their teammates. And so it is going to be physical, but it's the attitude that these guys have to bring to this practice today. Brock Hoffman's one of those guys. I'd really want to see what he's going to bring to the table today.
And basically what he's talking about, we don't need a bunch of skirmishes. We don't need a bunch of fights. And he basically said, if that happens, you're coming out of the practice. It would be like a game. If you do it in a game, you're thrown out. I'll be interested to see if the NFL officials who were here for the Tuesday practice are here for the scrimmage to try to keep order and discipline out there.
You know what? We've had practices where it's been very physical and no fighting, no ignorance. And we've had practices where it's been that way. It's your coach. A couple of years ago, a different coach, he came in.
Jeff Fisher.
That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody said.
Yeah.
Because
it was premeditated.
Yeah. You what you do is you tell for guys, man, if you get out of hand now, if it's any way I can get loopholes to fine you, I'm fine you. Because that's what Jimmy was about. We're gonna go out here. We need a physical practice. We go into the whistle, and if a guy shove you, so what? The next play is coming. The next defensive line just shove me out to me. Big New, you never get mad. I said, because I'm dogging you, man. You the one upset. Why did you just shove me? I told one guy, why did you just shove me? Well, I got my hands aside and I dump you on your back. So you shoved me. As long as you don't kick me or spit on me, we good.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, man.
You know what and I've told this story many times, so stop me if I told it the other day, but in that skirmish with the Rams, and it wasn't a skirmish, it was an all-out brawl. There was punches being thrown.
Yes.
I was standing on the field behind us, and the Cowboys were in goal line against the Rams at the far end, and the fight started, right? Well, the entire Rams defense that was on the field ran over to where the fight was going, except for their veteran linebacker. He stood on the field. Romo went under center, hiked the ball, and handed off, and they scored a touchdown, and Romo was going, it was 11-on-1, and he raised his hand like celebration at a touchdown, while everybody else was over there fighting. It's like, he ain't going over there. The rest of the offense didn't go over there. But the worst part is the fans along the fence, when some of the players got pushed to the fence, started throwing punches. And it really got out of control. Guys, and what's the stupidest thing you can do when that's happening? Take your helmet off. Right?
Tell you that right here, man. I ain't have so many plays in me, so I wasn't getting involved.
Hey, I wanted to talk about one guy that I've noticed starting to get more reps, not only with the second team, but actually got a few with the first team. And Savannah and I have talked about him, Willie Harvey Jr.
Very impressed by him.
Number
That's
55.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed it, but it was like early. I saw 55 out there, and I'm going, not familiar.
Whenever Kendricks is out.
And then I said, oh, that's Willie Harvey Jr.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep an eye on him in these because he's going to get a lot of reps. I was talking to the coaches, and it's like, oh, yeah, he has stepped up. Now, his deal is, Nate, 5'11", 230 as a linebacker. And he's been around the league a little bit, practice squads, but he ended
mainly with the Browns.
Yeah, with the Browns. And if you have the notes on him, but he ended up in the UFL this past year, this year, right?
Right.
It was, in 2023, he was with the UFL, and it was with the Battlehawks, and he was a league leader in tackles, and he was named an all-UFL team as well. So he really stood out in that league, and now he's getting the chance to kind of showcase his skill set here. And he spent several years on the practice squad, I think from 2019 until 2022 with the Browns. Played in only 2 games, but he, so far at camp, he's had a few picks. He's making tackles. He's practicing with the first team. He's getting a lot of reps. He's one to probably keep an eye out for.
So, I talked to Daryl Johnston, who's director of football operations for the UFL, and I asked him about him. I said, give me a scouting report on him. And he said, basically, he's one of these guys that, because he's small, he automatically gets diminished or overlooked. He goes, but in this league, you get a second chance. And he got to play, and he really stood out in the league at linebacker. And I said, does he remind you of anybody? He goes, well, look, I'm not talking about the total talent and skills, but he's sort of a Sam Mills.
Right,
and
right.
You probably played against him, right? Smaller linebacker, very active, saw the field.
Played with the Philadelphia Stars in the USFL and went to the
he was with
New
the
Orleans.
Saints and then Carolina. Was he at Carolina?
Yeah, it was at New Orleans. It was at Carolina.
Was he there when you were there?
I think maybe a year. Maybe a year.
So anyway, he's somebody to just keep an eye on, and he's going to get an opportunity.
Special teams,
right?
When I hear guys try to put special teams, that when you're talking to a linebacker coach or a position coach, and he's talking about a player as maybe the third, fourth linebacker or fifth receiver, they always say automatic special teams. Special teams is going to mean a lot to a lot of these guys. But every time Kendricks has been out, he has been the starting Mike backer. Every time Kendricks has been out, they replaced Kendricks for some rest. He is the first guy in.
And he's caught their attention. I was talking to Scott McCurley about it, the linebacker coach.
Yeah.
And he said he just keeps showing up. He keeps making plays. So that'll be an interesting story to see. Because what DJ said to me is a lot of times when you're that size, you got to fit into the right system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like you did Jordan Lewis.
Right.
Yeah, like you did Jordan Lewis.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but he just keeps showing up, Mick.
And he's too small.
Yeah, he just keeps showing up, Mickey.
Don't like short cornerbacks.
But you love short linebackers, huh?
Well, if they can hit and get to the hole, right?
Okay.
Well,
so anyway,
even Zimmer has talked about how impressed he has been with this linebacker group, and we did have Eric Kendricks out for a couple practices, and that gave these guys a little bit more of an opportunity to kind of get in some more reps, and just seeing some of that from Willie Harvey Jr., even Buddy Johnson, and also, like you said, how they're going to utilize them on special teams. That's where a lot of this comes into play here.
The thing I try to press upon people, and I try to tell Patrick C., is when you have a guy that starts, I'm talking about reps, they'll say, we finna do inside run. We got 15 plays. Well, the first 4 is going to the first team. That means the 5th guy, by the time they get to the next set of plays, that goes to the second. That's 8 plays gone. Then they get the second and third in there. Now it's another 4 plays gone. That's 12 plays. It's 3 plays left for those guys. Take that guy out on the front end. Now that's 7 plays that a guy that was the 4th or 5th team get a chance to do. And that's what people don't understand. Well, it won't be that many more reps. You're not counting. You're not counting. Every rep. If you tell me that I'm going to go to practice 2 times a day and I'm only going to get 4 reps, and all of a sudden it turns into 10 reps, I can't make a difference on that film? I can make a difference on that film.
And I think coaches may not say it to us how a guy's performing, but they tell us by the reps they give guys.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And if we see reps out there, it's like, oh, they think this guy's doing something.
Yes.
And I've even said this from the very beginning of camp, and I'm looking at the wide receiver group. Not having CeeDee Lamb here right now, look at this wide receiver room that is able to make more plays and get more reps in. Look at some of these guys being able to showcase it. Tyrone Billy Johnson, Turpin. These are opportunities these guys have to make an impression on coaches with CeeDee Lamb not being at camp.
So let's continue kind of analyzing that wide receiver group when we come back here on Mick Shots.
Ain't but 3 receivers. Don't worry about it. I got you covered.
Great tease.
I got you covered. Don't worry about it. Ain't but 3 of them.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine says...
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole, made with real Hass avocados, will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouth-watering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to Mick Shots.
Cowboys Nation. Dallas Cowboys United, presented by Globe Life, is now exclusively in the Dallas Cowboys app. Join the official fan club today to receive access to the all-new Cowboys Drops feature, team news, and pre-sale access. Fan and kid of the game. Download the app now to join.
And we continue here on Mick Shots. Nate Newton, Savannah Humoller, Mickey Spagnola with you here on a cloudy day in Oxnard, which means that it might get a little warmer here eventually if the marine layer dissipates. But got a big practice coming up, 2 o'clock. LA Rams coming into town, and then a preseason game on Sunday at SoFi. So we'll get to learn a lot more about this team. We were talking about the wide receivers, and the one thing I noticed without Lamb here is some of these young guys, they show up, they flash, and then one day and then the next day you don't see much from them. But one guy that I think has been consistent has been Jalen Cropper, number 16.
Absolutely.
And I think when you're watching this preseason game on Sunday, keep an eye out for 16 because he's been awfully productive with Dak Prescott with the first team when he gets his, as Nate said, opportunities. I mean, he'll make 3 or 4 catches a practice, and it's like, all right, he's not going away. There's only so many wide receivers you can keep, so it's going to be an interesting competition.
The thing that I've liked about all these receivers, no pads, with pads, they've been consistent. So I'm hoping that we can take this into this practice today and into the preseason with these same group of guys doing it, because each time it ramps up a little bit higher. The intensity gets a little bit higher. So if these guys can continue with this pace, it will be a hard cut. We'll be sitting here 5 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now saying, hey, man, there's like 4 guys that's at that 4th and 5th spot, and that's really going to come down to special teams. So I like what these guys are doing. They are competing at a high level. These wide receivers and the tight ends are doing the same thing too.
Well, Nate, if you look at it, doing the numbers, will include Lamb, right?
Right.
So you got CD, Brandon Cooks, probably at this point Jalen Tolbert.
Mm-hmm.
Kavontae Turpin's going to make the team as a special teamer, but he's getting more opportunities as a wide receiver.
So that's 5.
That's how many? 4?
That's 4.
4.
And then Jalen Brooks.
Jalen Brooks has been one of the guys that has stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
Cropper's been one of the guys that has stepped up. Tyron Billy Johnson has been a guy that's kind of flashed. And a late comer to this is Racy McMath.
Yeah, I know they throw him a few more balls.
Number 80, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's playing well. He was the unknown receiver at LSU. He was there where all the big names were.
Ooh, they had some studs come out.
And that's when he was there, and he was probably the 3rd, 4th receiver. This guy ran a 4.36 40.
Whoa.
At 6, I think he's 6'2", if I remember correctly. And he's 6'3", 6'3", 224. It's almost a tight end,
He
right?
has the build. He has a lot of...
Well, what happened? I mean, I understand they had some studs there, but his measurables is huge.
And he I think he fell through the cracks when he, into the NFL.
I know he had to go to the scouting combine, though. Wow.
He did. And so he's kind of, he was on the practice squad last year. And maybe he's a guy that, at least makes the practice squad, and then if you need somebody like that, elevate him. But think of that dimension when you're close to the goal line.
Right.
So keep an eye on him too, number 80.
But
Do you guys have anybody else that you want to particularly pay attention to in the preseason? Well, and here's the other thing I wanted to point out of the receivers. It's pretty easy out here when you're not going to get tackled.
Right.
You're pretty brave going across the middle.
Right.
Now somebody's going to hit you.
Right.
In that game. Now, do you got the same set of hands? Are your arms as long as they were?
That's why I say no pads to pads to this. That's what that's why it's
the progression.
Yeah, and so I try not to go here because it's kind of a scary situation. Fellas, let me tell y'all something. The quicker our offensive line develop, the greater our chances of being successful with this season. If our offensive line don't develop, y'all, all these great receivers we're talking about, all these great tight ends that I know we have, it's not going to work. If Guyton, Awesome Richards, Chuma don't develop and do something special, if Brock Hoffman can't hold up in the middle, it will not matter. And I know that's a gloom and doom thing, and you know that don't normally come from me, but that is the only thing that we should be watching for. Not so much you the fans, y'all cheer, but us should be watching for so we can give accurate accounts of what happened in this scrimmage and in the game.
So yesterday I actually had a chance to talk to the offensive line coach, Mike Solari, and I asked him who in this offensive line group has been surprising him the most, and he said nobody. He said, to be honest with you, the amount of effort these guys are all equally putting in, that's what he is appreciating right now as far as this room goes. He goes, we have the leadership, we have Zach Martin, we have Terrence Steele, we have Tyler Smith. He goes, it's all fitting together like a puzzle because you do have that great leadership, but he said the guys are all putting in the equal amount of effort. And that's one thing that I did like hearing. It's just a matter of these younger guys being able to step up and really fit in there.
The thing about it is, me personally, I'm going to give them preseason, but I'm going to give them 4 or 5. You know me, Mick. Miss Savannah, y'all know me. I'm going to go 4 and 5 games in, even if we don't win them all. I'm because you're trying to put your team together. You can say you know these guys, but we don't know what Guyton going to do against Cleveland. We don't know what Brock Hoffman going to do against Cleveland. Cleveland has a good defense, led by a hell of a player. So what we have to do is let these guys grow and unify and melt. You know what I'm saying? Like a big pot of gumbo. We got to stir them real slow and let it simmer and let them come together. You know what I'm saying? You agree, Mick?
You got to make the roux right.
Yeah, you got to make that roux right, baby. Yeah, man.
And then the other
one. Your show title today.
Yeah, making roux, right?
Yeah.
And the other person that's going to get a lot of snaps, not only in this practice but in the preseason game, is Trey Lance. And we're going to start seeing more about him because the Cowboys have to find out just what he is. And the other day when they were in team, he did a couple things, and you sit there and you're kind of shaking your head like, what the hell? And then the last play of the team period, he throws a wheel route to Snoop Connor. It was about a 20, 30-yard pass, and it was a bullseye in the back corner of the end zone on the wheel route that Snoop went up and made a hell of a catch, and you're sitting there going, okay, I see you, but it's like you got to be consistent, and that's what they got to find out about him.
You know what? I was hard on this kid, but I went back on his background, and I know this is the NFL, and you don't have a lot of time to waste, but me personally, I wouldn't tell him this, but I just put him on the back burner and give him another year. Another year of being away from the 49ers. I think that hurt him. It did not do anything for his psyche.
It scarred him.
Yeah, and so y'all don't normally hear me take up for a player. I don't. I understand what this business is about, but I wish we just had another guy instead of Trey Lance in camp, and just say, Trey, just watch Dak. Just go watch film of other guys and let him just get himself right, because it was something about this kid that made the 49ers move up with all these picks. It's something they saw. Now, if he's not mentally ready next year, then okay. But I want him to be far enough removed from all that wash. He's still a young kid.
And he hasn't played a lot of football.
No, he hasn't.
He played one full year at
I don't even want to discuss it.
North Dakota State, right?
But he's going to see how many snaps. He'll probably see the first at least 2 quarters each game. And I wish we could run in there with the first team line a couple of times. Just let him have something clean to look at.
And your idea is right. Yeah. Unfortunately, they'll run out of time because he's on the last year of his contract.
And I mean, if he sometime and I always use this as like Zeke. We should have never got rid of Zeke. We should have locked him in the back room. And when free agency passed, said, "Hey, go Zeke. Hey, go this money we're gonna give you." Force him to take it. And this is what we should do with this kid. Hey, man, the contract running out. It's over. Okay, this is what we're going to pay you. Come in here and release your mind, and your behind will follow. Let's play. You know what I'm saying?
I think Trey Lance has been such a big question mark since he arrived on this roster. But it's plays like when he's throwing a touchdown to Snoop Conner that give him that confidence. So as we progress throughout the rest of this camp and what he's going to do in preseason, it's an opportunity for him to see what he can do, for us to see what he can do. But it's plays like that that's really going to build his confidence into the player that we're hoping that he might become. But it's just kind of TBD in the air. He's still a question mark at this point.
He's got 2.5 more weeks of training camp, and he's got 3 preseason games to kind of sharpen his skills to see just what he can do.
And just put him on the back burner. Just put him on the practice squad or whatever. Just put him on the back burner and let him grow. This is what I don't understand. This kid probably done had 8 draft picks dedicated to him. He's been moved up from a nobody to a whole special somebody. You went to one of the most prestigious teams in the 49ers who is on a magnificent run right now. These people kick you to the curb. Then you turn around and get another 4th-round pick for you to one of the most iconic teams in the Dallas Cowboys. Do you know this kid, what in the world is going on? Yeah, from a guy who may only play 1 year of college to this is what the NFL is. Put the kid on the back burner. Just leave him alone another year. And then next year, Nate may not be so nice if I'm here. Because believe me, I'm not in the family portrait either.
You heard it here first from Nate Newton.
Big
on
news,
Trey Lance.
yeah. And you only get it here on Mick Shots here on DallasCowboys.com, and that was like the fastest 50 minutes I think we've seen in podcast history. But we'll be back next Monday. I got to get my day straight with this rotation.
Chris, will we be back Monday or we'll be off Monday?
Monday.
Monday. Nate Newton, Savannah, Mickey, we will.
That's not Savannah, Georgia.
Don't
ruin my rhythm. We'll be back Monday with Mick Shots on DallasCowboys.com.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!